All right, cool. Okay, hi. This is Dr. Brooke Goldner from Goodbye Lupus, and I am live streaming now on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Smoothie Shred group. I'm here to answer your questions about health and help you hopefully have a better life, a healthier life, answer your questions, get some clarity on everything involving better health, better nutrition, better living. So, and obviously, I can't see you. I can't be your doctor through the phone, through the internet. Okay. So this doesn't substitute for medical advice or diagnoses, but I am here to help. Lesson 4 today. Can't believe it's already Wednesday. I had some really awesome sessions today. So when I do wellness sessions with people, they're 75 minutes because I like to get to know people and hear their full story. And when I hear their full story, I'm able to help them understand their health better than, the typical doctor you see for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I've actually never bought into that. Even when I graduated from my residency, I went into a medical director job working for a nonprofit where there were no restrictions on me. So if I wanted to spend the entire day with somebody, I would, but I could spend whatever time, do whatever I thought that person needed. And then, of course, going into my own private practice and then wellness, I've always set the times and given people a lot more access because it helps and they get better. And that's the whole reason to even do this kind of work is to see people get better. So anyway, what do I want to give you for my sessions today? Well, the one that I just got off of, the lovely person from Norway who had childhood trauma, right? And I've talked a lot about how trauma affects our health. And there's a reason why probably about 90% of the people who do my rapid recovery group have experienced childhood trauma. And what it does is it impacts your health in so many ways. It doesn't just create anxiety and fear, but it creates health issues because when you're anxious and fearful, that disrupts your cortisol levels. It actually creates inflammation. You can detect inflammatory markers in people with trauma and anxiety. And when you have all these things happening, you also disrupt gut function. So most people have issues with constipation or diarrhea or irritable bowel or cramping. I've even seen anxiety components in things like Crohn's. So you can develop gut issues. You can develop autoimmune issues. And you tend to be really tired because it's exhausting to be scared all the time. And it can also create a lot of health anxiety and hypervigilance. So hypervigilance is a trauma term, and it's about being overly ready for bad things to happen, right? You hear a noise and what is that? What's going on? And you can't sleep well because you want to make sure nothing bad happens. Well, you can become hypervigilant even in your body. What is that bump? What is that? Why did my stool look like that? What is this? Why does this hurt? And start to think that there's constantly something really bad going on when maybe there isn't. And so one of the lessons that helped this gentleman today, and I hope if you're watching that this session changed your life. And one of them is that a lot of times people with health anxiety don't realize that even healthy people have aches and pains and even rashes or even weird bowel movements sometimes. We're a big bag of cells, 100 trillion cells or so. You eat something weird, maybe your stomach hurts. You had a big fight with your friend, maybe you're feeling exhausted from the anxiety and worry. You used a lotion your skin didn't like, maybe you got a little itchy, rashy, right? Things happen. But when people don't have a background in trauma, they usually don't make much out of it. They go, that's itchy, put some cream on it, goes away. They don't even think about it. Or, stomach hurts. Then you give it a couple of days, it gets better, it goes away, right? My knee hurts. Probably because I worked out and I'll just, ice it and probably be fine. Don't get anxiety about it. Don't worry about it and things get better. But when people have anxiety, especially when you've had trauma, you start to worry that anything could mean something much worse. And you start looking for signs. And so you go, oh my God, what happened to my knee? And then you get scared about the knee. And then because you're scared, you're not sleeping well. And now you're feeling more tired. And then you have more inflammatory markers flowing through your system. Now your whole body feels kind of achy. And next thing you know, you're on the internet. And then you're like, oh my God, what do I have, a disease? And the anxiety itself becomes more problematic and more devastating than the pain that started it. And maybe that pain wasn't even a big deal. Maybe it's because you worked out, right? So I say this to emphasize the importance of mental health in health, that you can have aches and pains and still be a healthy person. You know, if they come and go, you do something, you strain something, you know, sleep wrong, right? You don't have to have your body feel perfect every day in order for it to mean you're okay. And it's okay to embrace the body you have even while you're working to get healthy, to say, okay, I'm doing everything I can to get healthier. I'm eating, you know, on the Goodbye Lupus protocol, right? This is the most anti-inflammatory you can eat. I'm eating that. I'm making sure I get enough sleep. I'm doing everything I can to take care of myself. So now I can stop worrying and just be. I can embrace what I have in my life, my family, career, volunteering, your spiritual life, whatever it is that gives you meaning. You're allowed to just enjoy it and not be in that state of fear and worry. The state of fear and worry will only make you sicker. So do what you can to treat your problems of today, whether you need to take something medicinally, whether you need to take a day off, whether you need a hot bath or a massage, or whether you need to work on your diet, do those things. And then don't forget to actually enjoy your life. It is healing to be happy and to release anxiety. And this is the daily work in my rapid recovery group. I actually was just looking over people's logs in my group before I came on, while I was waiting a couple minutes before I came on. And I looked at 3 different people's logs, and all 3 of them said that they were feeling happier. And we're on day 18, happier. The first person is like, I just realized how I could change my mood through self-care, and I did it. The second person, same thing. For the first time ever, she was in a bad mood, feeling down, and she used self-care, which we've been working on every day, and she changed her mood. Third person says, I feel happiness. It's so weird. It's like trickling up through me, and I haven't felt this in so long. Part of the work that people do every day with me, yes, I work on their diet, and yes, I work on their sleep, but I also teach them happiness. And happiness is healing in and of itself. So don't forget to work on your happiness, and that in and of itself will make your health better. Okay, lesson of the day has been released, and I hope that makes you feel better too. Yes, work on your health, but don't obsess over it. Don't be fearful over it. Enjoy the fact that you're here and you're alive. It's okay for it to be a good day, even if you're not in perfect condition. And I speak from my own experience. You know, 30 years ago, I was given 6 months to live. I was in chronic pain for 12 years with lupus, and I was still happy because I didn't focus on it. I did what I had to do to take care of it. It was medicines back then. And then I just enjoyed the fact that I was here and I was free and I was alive. I could get education. I had family. I found every way I could to feel lucky and grateful. And I believe that is one of the reasons why even my medicines help me, right? So any treatment's going to work better if you happen to be calm and happy. And I know that that's not instinctive for most people. It's why I teach it, but don't forget to work on it. So let's go over and see what YouTube is asking me. Okay, so let's see here. So let me move this over so I can read it better. Got so many cameras on me, sometimes it's hard to read everything. Okay. Angie, what is your take on histamine intolerance? Do you suggest a short-term elimination diet and slowly add high histamine items back once at a time? So it's interesting because this came up for me today too. I was working with someone on histamine. I think we are probably overdiagnosing is what I meant to say. We're probably overdiagnosing histamine issues. It's like something gets brought up and then everybody kind of latches on and thinks that they have it. So is there histamine intolerance? Yes, absolutely. I've seen people with histamine intolerance. Is it as many people as report it? I don't think so. So for example, I was working with someone today who says he has histamine intolerance, but he doesn't react to spinach and doesn't react to flax seeds, is eating all these beans and things, but he reacts to tomatoes and bananas and avocados. I'm like, okay, those happen to be high histamine foods, but you're not reacting to all high histamine foods. So it might not be a histamine issue. It might be you're sensitive to tomatoes, bananas, and avocados, right? So I tend not to overdiagnose things. I'd rather take things step by step. If you react to this, take it out. Now, when I do intensive programs, or if people just want to find out faster, let's say you're like, I don't want to find out step by step what I might be allergic to. Is there a way, or reacting to, is there a way to remove all the most common things people react to and see if that works? Yes. In those cases, I will use a low histamine diet. Again, not because I think someone has a histamine issue, but because they're reacting to things, and the low histamine plan happens to eliminate most of the things that people who do have food reactions tend to react to. So you can totally do that. And if you think you have that issue, you can totally do a low histamine version of my protocol. And then when you're feeling significantly better, then test reintroducing one higher histamine food every 3 to 5 days. And if you don't react to it, then you keep it and try the next one. And that often can make the difference and help you know that you're better. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what Facebook wants to ask me. Let's see here. Sorry. All right. Okay, let's see here. So Lisa wants to know, my friend's beautiful 18-year-old daughter has Hashimoto's and was recently told she needs a kidney transplant because her kidneys are 85% scarred according to biopsy. Doctors suspect she has a secondary autoimmune disease because Hashimoto's does not attack kidneys. Would she be able to heal her kidneys enough to avoid transplant through the Goodbye Lupus protocol? First of all, I'm sorry to hear about your friend's 18-year-old daughter. That is extremely stressful and sad that their family is going through that. And yes, the whole family is going through it. I agree that Hashimoto's does not typically attack kidneys. So there is another issue most likely happening there. But I think of autoimmune diseases all as one. If she has Hashimoto's, she has autoimmune disease. And so there's probably other antibodies that are affecting her kidneys. Will we be able to avoid transplant in the Goodbye Lupus protocol? I don't know, but it's worth trying. I have helped other people get off the transplant list from kidney failure, from lung failure, and in my rapid recovery programs, where we're working the most aggressively possible on nutrition, on mental health, on sleep and stress and all of those things, right? And it has been extremely effective. So if there is a chance at her kidneys recovering, it's the best thing she could possibly do is to be on the Goodbye Lupus protocol, hands down. It's extremely, extremely effective. So I do recommend that she do that. And if she's struggling or if she has labs that are abnormal because of the kidneys, right? So if she's got abnormal creatinine, BUN, GFR, potassium, sodium, it's a good idea for her to work with me so I can personalize the program more towards what her kidney function is. I do not believe what the biopsies say as like carved into a tablet, okay? Because they're largely wrong. Remember that when you get biopsies, they're taking really tiny pieces of the kidney, and then they are extrapolating that that little piece represents what the entire 2 organs look like. I have had other folks, I published getting somebody off the transplant list in my rapid recovery program. She doubled her kidney function in 6 weeks, and her doctor said, nothing will work. You will get a transplant. 6 weeks later, she had double the kidney function off 3 blood pressure medicines and no longer needed a transplant. So just because there's nothing more that the nephrologist could do does not mean there's nothing more that they can do. So we just have to make sure that the nutrition is optimized for what her kidney can handle. But yes, if there's a chance, this is the best thing you could possibly do. It's incredible how effective it is. I'm still astounded by it every day, and I've helped so many people through it. So yes, absolutely. Okay, Instagram. I see your hearts. I'm with you. Let me scroll, find. All right. Thank you for all the love. Let's see here. I love that about Instagram. You get like real-time happy reactions. Let me see here if I find a question. Oh, hi, Lori. Let's see. All right. So someone asked, is hyperkalemia a risk of this protocol? Only if you've got kidney failure. So that is having your potassium levels be too high. That will not happen to a normal person with normal kidneys. Our body, your kidney filters, keeps what it needs and gets rid of the rest. If you're in kidney failure, it is a possible risk, which is why I recommend people work with me so I can adjust the dosage of the nutrition to go with your kidney function. Okay. Let me see. That was fast. So I'll give one more. Mariana asks, do I take supplements? I take vitamin D and B12. Those are the only supplements I take. Okay. All right. Let's see over here. Let me go back to see what YouTube is asking. All right, let's see. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to hear this. Colin says my body's paralyzed from a cervical spinal cord injury. Will this protocol heal me? I started hypernourishment last week, but I got a UTI. What to do? Been plant-based for a year now. First of all, I am so sorry. This is a devastating injury, and I'm very glad that you're working on your recovery. I don't know. I don't know what recovery is possible. Obviously, I don't know what your injury, how it happened, what your doctors are saying, right? If this looks like spinal shock versus, if there was a severing there's no way. There's no way for me to know what your recovery ability is. What I do know is how to optimize cellular repair. So I wouldn't just do hypernourishment. I would do the Goodbye Lupus protocol. I do know that you can definitely heal nerve tissue, like brain tissue, for example, using this program. We've had people heal with neuropathies. We're on day 18 in my group, and there's someone with neuropathies who's already feeling them improve. That's not the same, right, as the issue you have, but it is nervous tissue. I had someone who had a stroke on day 3 of rapid recovery because he had a medical procedure done that caused a stroke. And he stayed on plan. And in 2 weeks, his neurologist said he looked like he'd been healing for 6 months. He'd never seen anyone heal that fast. So that is to say that we know nerve tissue can recover. How much can recover? What's the level of your injury? I'm not even going to begin to try to comment on that because I can't. But I would definitely go all in on the protocol just to make sure that whatever you are eating, it is going towards cellular repair. And if you're tolerating it well, go up on your omega-3s as high as you can. If you need my help for this stuff, you can always make an appointment with me, do a rush appointment so I can see you sooner. But I'm glad you're going to do everything you can to heal. And I hope that you make a full recovery. So I'm sure everybody listening does. All right, let's see here. Go to... all right, let's see. I'm trying to see all right, this is cut off, so I can't answer. All right. The program I'm using doesn't let me see your whole question here. So try to keep them to a shorter paragraph. I will say, Susan, I don't know you, so you're not on the rapid recovery program. Rapid recovery programs where you're working with me every day. That is an intense program. Imagine having to deal with me and all my positivity and helpfulness on a daily basis. It's a lot, all right? That's why the results are so profound. If you are on the raw nutrition plan and you're trying to do my protocol, call it the Goodbye Lupus protocol. If you're working on raw nutrition and the Goodbye Lupus protocol and self-care, sleep, stress, call that the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, or GAIDP versus GLP. If you're just adding hypernourishment, say, I'm doing hypernourishment. If you say those things, that will tell me what you're doing more. People like to say rapid recovery, but unless I know you in my group or in my personal program, it's not that. And there is a difference. So just so you're aware. But if you can do a shorter version of your question where I could see the whole thing, that would be very helpful. And I will try to answer for you, Susan. All right, let's try someone else. Let's see. Veronica said, what fruits and vegetables do we need to avoid? There's not really any that I tell people to avoid. Any that you might have a sensitivity to. But like if you're asking about like nightshades and stuff, I've never had a problem with that. People have said garlic's bad for you. I don't think I've ever been a day without garlic in my life. It was in my breast, not my breast milk, because I was formula fed. It was in my formula. All right. I've been in garlic every day. I've not seen universally there be a need to avoid any certain vegetables or fruits besides ones that people know that they are sensitive to, or if someone has kidney failure, high potassium versions, they have histamine issues, high histamine ones, but in general for recovery, not necessary. Let me see. All right, this is like a multi-prong, but let me see if I can help. Aiden wants to know, is weed bad for the protocol? If you mean marijuana, that one, I can't give you a definite yes or no. There's certain instances where there have been studies done, like marijuana has been shown to hurt kidney function in people with kidney failure. But in general, I don't think, I haven't tested like with and without to see the impact. 2, my rheumatologist wants me to do an immune cell transplant. Should I do it? I don't know. I don't know your illness. I don't know what you're going through. that is something to talk with your doctor about. What am I going to go through? What is the possible side effects? What are the possible benefits? Like, that is a discussion for your doctor. I mix a cup of both flax and chia in my smoothie. Is this okay, or should I do only one? That's fine. If you like it, that's totally fine. All right, let's see. All right, this is a new question people have been asking. Janet says, I have a question about toxicity in leafy greens. I saw in Smoothie Shred that there can be toxic metals. Yeah, I've heard that too, but I haven't seen it. So there's so many different theories and fears and stuff that's put out there. And it's one of the reasons why I only teach from results. Because if you live in the world of theory, I think you'll just stop eating. And I've seen memes like that. Like, I'm afraid of having any problems, so I'm just going to eat air, right? It's like, there's so many theories and people will put that out there, and then they will meme it, and then they will spread it, and then people are afraid of everything. If I see a problem, I'll investigate it. If I don't see a problem, then I'm not worried about it. So I have not seen it be a problem. When I've been putting people on high doses of cruciferous vegetables, leafy greens, for many, many years. And what we've seen is miraculous recoveries and reversals of autoimmune disease, diabetes, heart disease, tumors. I mean, it's incredible. Not dying from toxicities. If they were getting toxic, we'd be like, oh no, something's wrong. And then we would unravel it and say, stop doing this. It's no good. It hasn't happened. So if something goes wrong, I will investigate the problem. What's gone wrong? Let's see if we can find what's wrong. But that's not been the case. So, if there's someone who is dealing with a certain issue, let's investigate and find out why. But to worry, you don't need to worry about leafy greens. Leafy greens are what people are missing in their diet most of the time, not what's causing them their problems. It's kind of like the whole issue around oxalates, right? They say, oh my gosh, greens have oxalates, and you can have too much oxalates. Well, what are you worried about? Kidney stones? Because the number one cause of kidney stone is people who are dehydrated and don't eat enough vegetables, right? That's, I guess, 1 and 2. Like, usually those come together. So adding leafy greens actually helps prevent kidney stones, right? So if you have an oxalate issue, can adding more spinach, for example, maybe cause more stones, especially if you're still eating meat and dehydrated, potentially. So don't eat spinach. But the point is, people jump to this conclusion and turn something into a fear that really is part of the solution and not something to be afraid of at all. So I hope that helps. All right, let me see here. And you would see in Smoothie Shred all these people like dying of toxicities, right? Instead of going, oh my God, look at my cholesterol, look at my antibodies. Hey, I'm better, right? That's what you would see, because that community can post whatever they want, right? And you would definitely see it. We would see it. We're looking out for people. I am willing to change what I do in the service of public interest. And honestly, I just wish more people would do that. I have some people who, are refusing to look at what could be better because they just want to stick with teaching what they've been teaching. And it's like, why? Then you're not interested in public interest. You're interested in being right. And that's dangerous for the public. So yes, I will tell you, I promise, I will tell you if something comes up and this is suddenly not a good idea, I will back it up. Because the reason I even do this right now, right, is to serve and to help, right? So if something's not helpful or I discover something new, I will bring it to you, I promise. All right, let's see. All right, April says, I have RA. I just purchased your book, but I want to ask, during the 3 months of clean eating, did you eat anything other than juiced fruit and veggies? So maybe I haven't read all the details yet, but I have never done juicing. And back when I was in, I've had juices, they're tasty, but I didn't do it for healing. Back when I was healing, so this is back to 2005, I didn't know about smoothies then either. So I was eating pounds of raw vegetables a day, drinking down the oil for the omega-3s, and drinking lots of water. I was doing it that way. Now, I like to drink it because it's a lot easier. I have a less muscular jaw than I did before, but hey, yeah. So I prefer smoothies now, and I do smoothies with people more because people like the taste. It's easier. It's a lot easier to eat it all or to drink it all than it is to chew it all. Although some people still prefer to chew, totally fine by me. But that's what I did. And there's a lot of interest people have in what I did all those 17 years ago, like you want to nail down what I did then rather than listen to what I'm doing now. What I'm doing now, what I did then was before I even knew what I was doing or what worked, I was doing it for weight loss and it just happened to work. What I'm doing now is based off results with thousands of people. Listen to me now. Enjoy that for inspiration. Enjoy the teaching of the foods that help and hurt, but listen to me now in terms of how to do things. So, if you're trying to just improve your health, add hypernourishment. If you are trying to reverse a disease like RA, do the Goodbye Lupus protocol or the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol where you add in the emotional work. That's the best thing you can do now. It doesn't matter if you want to do it all in smoothies, you can do it. It works really well. If you want to eat the foods only, works really well. You want to do a combo deal, works really well. It's really which foods you're eating, not whether or not they are blended or chewed. So I hope that the book helps you a lot and being here as well. Okay, let's see. So Alexa Abbott, what is your take on ginger, turmeric, and forbidden rice on hypernourishing diet? Well, hypernourishing is about what you're adding, not the other foods. So you can have all of those things with hypernourishment because, again, that's about what you're missing, that you're adding what you're missing. Forbidden rice, if you're asking about like the Goodbye Lupus protocol, I've never tested forbidden rice, but people have used ginger and turmeric. And let me do another quick one over here. Sean Davis wants to know, what are your thoughts on pro and prebiotics? I don't usually recommend prebiotics just because they usually have a lot of fiber in them and people don't need more fiber on my plan. For probiotics, yes, I usually use the Metagenics ones for folks and they're very effective. It's difficult to change your gut microbiome just with food alone. It can take sometimes years for things to fully be where they want to. My buddy, Dr. Clapper, teaches about the gut, and I'll never forget when he was teaching about how one treatment of antibiotics, it can take you 2 years to recover your gut microbiome after one treatment with antibiotics. And I was like, whoa. So yeah, probiotics, I think, are an important thing for most people when they're trying to get their guts healthy. All right, let's go over back to the YouTube and Facebook side. Let's see here. Okay, Regina wants to know, Regina's my mom's name too. How long would it take to see relief from foot pain or foot pain arthritis, I think? Okay, so if you have arthritis in your foot, there's multiple things that are going to affect your recovery. So one is how intensely you do a healing program, right? So it'll be faster if you're doing the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol, right? Because you're going to get good night's sleep, you're going to do stress relief, and you're going to eat only for your recovery, right? That would be the fastest. How fast? I don't know. I'm not a psychic. I'm pretty good at predicting what's going to happen when I'm watching people work. But it's still, I would say you should feel some difference if you're doing it correctly. Some lessening usually happens within the first few weeks. Some people it's in the first few days. Some people it can be a little bit longer, but it also depends on how aggressively you do the nutrition. The other thing that will impact your foot healing is how much you use it. So if you have arthritis in your foot and you are running, walking, taking the stairs, you're injuring a swollen joint, it's going to take longer versus if you, ice it, stay off of it, and really nourish yourself really well, do exercise, upper body ergometer or crunches or sit-ups or push-ups and things, and let the feet heal. So all of those things will impact it. But what you want to do is everything you need to do, right? So if you are eating the best you can and you're not doing anything that can injure the foot, it will heal as fast as it can. But I usually notice a difference in folks within the first few weeks. There's some breakthrough that starts to happen where you can go, yes, there's something going on. Now, sometimes the breakthrough isn't where you wanted. Like if you're only looking at your foot and you go, I don't know, it's been 2.5 weeks and my foot feels the same. And then suddenly you realize, wait a minute, but my wedding ring fixed again and it used to not fit. Oh, inflammation's coming down, right? Or my chronic headaches are gone or something. So, you should notice some changes happening in your body by usually the 3rd week somewhere if you're doing everything correctly. And if you're doing everything aggressively with the nutrition and it's not getting better, then you're going to want to look more at how's my stress, how's my moods, am I on the foot too much to let it heal, and keep all those in consideration. All right, let's see here. And Elizabeth says, if cruciferous veggies are so great, are cruciferous sprouts like broccoli sprouts better? I don't know, because I've never tested them, so I don't use them. I teach from results. So if I have proven that something works, that's what I tell you to do. I won't theorize. So theoretically, is it possible that they're better? Maybe, but they're not tested, so I won't recommend it. You can have them though, of course. Let's see. Pamela says, do you drink nut milks and how often do you eat cooked food? Yes, we use unsweetened almond milk. I use that in recipes. We don't drink them. Like, I don't see the point to drinking a milk. I didn't drink milk even when I was vegetarian and I ate tons of dairy. It was cheese. I've never just liked to drink milk. I've never taught my kids to drink milk. So nobody just sits and drinks milk in my house. If we use a nut milk, it's to add to a coffee or a tea or to add to a recipe. Like if I make baked potato or like mashed potatoes, I'll put unsweetened almond milk in there to make it more creamy. So it's really like I use it for things like that, but nobody's actually drinking them. But we use unsweetened almond milk. That's the milk that we use. How often do you eat cooked food? I usually have some cooked food daily, just not a lot of it. So I'm a high raw plant-based eater or vegan. So most of the day I'm working on my smoothie, I'm working on my water, and that way I can work and get things done. Right? It'd be really weird if I was like chewing broccoli right now and I had it in my teeth, and those of you who are my patients back in the day, I used to have a big giant platter of vegetables and hummus vegetables and guacamole on my desk every day. And when you would come to see me for an appointment, I would say, come eat with me. And so I would share, and my patients, usually that was the only time that they ate well. And so we would eat together. And that was how I got all my food in before I knew about smoothies. So some of you might remember me back in the day doing that. But now I just do my smoothies and that's easier. And then when it comes to dinner time, I always eat a big salad. That's my main course. And then I might have some soup or maybe a potato, or maybe I'll just put some quinoa or beans on my salad. But yeah, so usually I'll have some cooked food each day. It's just like a minimal event. It's less than 25% of my diet. Okay. Oh, can you guys hear that thunder? I don't know if you can hear it. It just got really dark, and yeah, it's dark and it's thundering. Okay. Well, if the power goes out, you'll know why. I do have a backup generator though, so that'll be interesting. If it keeps going, that'll be super cool. You'll see it blink and then I'll keep going. We'll find out. This is exciting. It just got exciting. Let me see here. Okay. Aw, some of you guys are so sweet. I appreciate the nice ones. Let me see. Okay. So Busy Bee says, I have a call scheduled with you in July. I got on the wait list. I received an email saying that I was on the wait list. I got an email saying there was an opening, but when I tried to book it, it wouldn't book. How does the wait list work? Unfortunately, the wait list, it's very hard to get something moved up from the wait list. So what happens is, so ignore this if you're not trying to book something with me, but for those of you who are, if you go on the wait list, there's an automatic system on the scheduler that if somebody cancels or moves their appointment and a spot opens up, it will email everybody on the wait list. And whoever is first gets the spot. They disappear within seconds. So someone who just happened to get their email alert before you took the spot. And that's why when you went to book it, it wasn't there. So I'm sorry about that. I do have something called rush add-ons. If somebody gets a rush add-on, I add time to the schedule to see people within 8 weeks. And that's currently how long it takes for a rush appointment. And sometimes people get on me about that. And then I hear about rheumatologists who have appointments a year out. And I'm like, come on, guys, 2 months is pretty good. I still do have to leave this office sometimes, or else I become chair shaped. And, my kids will start like standing in the doorway with tears, right? So I do my best. And so I will add time to work longer days for rush add-ons. But right now that's about 8 weeks out. So sorry you missed the waiting list alert. Sorry about that. Let me see here. All right. And Avril says, could this work for myasthenia gravis? Yes, we've had good results for myasthenia gravis. And I have some things I've worked through to help folks with this kind of disorder. Let me see here. Norman, hello, Dr. Goldner. Your thoughts and experiences on vegetable juice like V8 and the like. We appreciate you and Thomas. We appreciate that. Yeah, I would not use it. Those are processed. You could make your own fresh version of V8, which, by the way, if any of you have figured that out, please tell me the recipe, because when I was a kid, I loved V8, and I won't drink it now because it's super processed. But when I've tried on my own to make it fresh, it's a big fail. So if any of you know like a way to make fresh V8 type juice in the blender, like post that in Smoothie Shred or something for me. Tag me. And Creative Heart, you're saying, I keep hearing eating too many greens are not healthy. Right, exactly, right? And so you hear it, and what I would do is, cool, what experience is that based off of? That usually will give you some pretty good information about where someone else is getting their information, right? If someone says, I heard greens are not good for you, you go, cool, based on what? Were there results where somebody who was unhealthy ate greens and got worse, or somebody who was healthy and ate greens and became sick? Like, let's talk about actual people and actual results. They won't have it. Even my grandmother knew eating your vegetables was good for you. And now all of a sudden they're trying to make it seem like there's something wrong. Why? I don't know. Maybe people are getting too healthy and like medication usage has gone down. I don't know. Maybe it's all the extra dairy that's sitting now in federal buildings because it's subsidized by the government, and they're not selling as well. Now the government's collecting them, which what they do is they just pour them into the schools, unfortunately, right? Maybe there's other reasons that's coming out, is all I'm saying. Not to start conspiracy stuff. I'm just saying there's no results that show that eating vegetables is bad for you. Let me see here. Jesse, if you're trying to increase omega-3, does eating oil limit the progress? Put differently, if you're taking omega-3 and you're still eating oils, are you wasting your money? No, you're not wasting your money, but you're not getting all the bang for your buck. So if you look at my book, Goodbye Lupus, or if you watch my classes, I showed you how eating other oils will add more omega-6 to your diet, right? And more omega-6 will then take that enzyme that usually breaks down your omega-3s, and it will hijack that enzyme. Okay. And then you will break down less omega-3s. So it does make a difference. It does impact your ability to fully utilize those omega-3s. So better not to, right? Why hold on to something that might interfere with your health? Just take it out. Take out the extra oils. If you're going to use oil, use flax oil, use chia oil. Okay. Let me see here. Let's see. Facebook. So Kathleen wants to know, will this protocol help lower my CRP sed rate and help my Hashimoto's? Yes, I have successfully fully reversed Hashimoto's in many people. And actually watching the CRP and ESR is a great way to see your inflammation coming down. And it's fun to watch. People always tell me that, at first they used to be afraid every time they got labs because they're so worried about something going wrong. But then when they're on my plan, it's actually more interesting to get labs, even exciting, because you're watching those numbers get better. It's pretty cool. All right, let me see here. Nadine wants to know, what does an allergic reaction to flax seeds present as? Could sensitivity to flax be causing an itchy rash in the back of my leg? Any allergy can cause itchiness, whether it's environmental, whether it's a tag on your clothes or detergent, or it could be a food. So it's not, if it's a really bad allergy, your throat will close up. But if you want to test if you're allergic to flax, then just take flax out and see if the itchiness goes away. It's a really quick way to find out. All right, let's go into Instagram. Homebody in the Wild. Hello, I was wondering if you're opposed to including a date or two in your smoothie. It depends. If you're doing hypernourishment, you can get away with that just fine. If you're in the Goodbye Lupus protocol, then no dates. Katie wants to know, any advice on sticking to raw when sick? All I want is toast and soup. Yes, the sicker you are, the more you need to stick with this, right? I mean, think about it. I'm really sick, so I don't feel like eating the most healing foods. But then when I get better, I'm going to eat the most healing foods, right? If you want to get better, the most important thing you can do is eat on plan. So I know that you're feeling like, oh, I want toast and soup, because you're looking for comfort. But instead, maybe have some hot tea and have your smoothies, and then comfort yourself in another way, right? Maybe with a hot bubble bath, or maybe, cuddle up with your blankets and listen to some meditation music. Or apparently if you're in Texas right now, listen to the storm outside. but find other ways to comfort yourself. It's also instinct, right? I was raised that way that, oh, you're sick, chicken soup. Now I will never have chicken soup ever again. My grandmother did try before she passed away. She'd be like, I won't tell anyone. I'm like, Grandma, no, I'm not even going to secretly eat it. I don't want it. But she thought it was important, right? So I think some of it also is like memories of comfort as a child. Like, oh, that's what I used to get when I was sick. Go for the hugs, go for the comfort of your surroundings, and use the healing foods so that you can get better. All right, let's see. There we go. All right, Leslie says, I'm doing hypernourishment. I also have Hashimoto's. Should I be adding or altering the protocol? No, I mean, the same protocol is helpful. Again, realize my protocol is not specific to disease, but to cellular repair. So you would use the same protocol. The only thing you would do differently is just make sure that you get 300 micrograms of iodine a day instead of 150 for when you have a low thyroid. You can lower it to 150 when your thyroid gets better, though. So let me know when it does. Let's see here. Okay, Rachel Pinky. Doc, does the Goodbye Lupus protocol help weight loss? Is there anything more to do? Also, does the protocol cause dehydration? Because I feel like taking water all the time since I started. Okay, so this protocol is, so it sounds like you're kind of new to my work. So this protocol actually came about as a weight loss program, and it still can be used that way. I was trying to lose weight and I lost lupus. That's the shortest version of my story I think I ever told. And that was over 17 years ago. So yes, this what my husband discovered, and he has a book called Miracle Metabolism, and it helps you understand how nutrition impacts cellular repair, which then impacts metabolism, your ability to lose fat, gain muscle, all of those things that people want to do. So if you are trying to do those things to lose weight, then yes, hypernourishment will build up fast metabolism. Your cells will be more responsive. They'll be fast. They'll respond to what you're doing. How do you intensify that? Exercise. You have to do the right exercise. So nourishment will only get you so far. And then you actually have to do the exercise to send the signals in your body to tell it to release fat. You know, whenever I hear people all the time saying that, you know, your abs are made in the kitchen. Well, only if you're running in your kitchen, right? Like your nutrition has to be right. But the exercise is what's going to tell your body to drop the fat. So you will lose, especially if you're obese, you will lose a certain amount of weight initially, but then it will stabilize. And the only way to continue losing fat will be to add the exercise. It is definitely not dehydrating because my protocol includes having 96 ounces of water a day minimum, which for most people is the most water they've ever had. If you're still thirsty, you can drink more. But yes, there's no reason to be worried about dehydration. In fact, what tends to happen is people who were dehydrated tend to not have a thirst drive. They're not thirsty. But once you become hydrated, suddenly that thirst switch turns on. And so it could be that you're thirsty because you are hydrated. It's kind of a weird thing to think about, but interesting nonetheless. All right. Let me see here. That's awesome, Carrie. I'm glad that counting your wins is making a difference for you. Let me see. Carolyn wants to know, can the colon renew with your protocol? Well, yeah, you can reverse colon disease. I have now had every person who's done my rapid recovery protocol with Crohn's that I can think of in the past, at least every case I can think of right now in the past year and a half, every one of them has recovered fully, usually in 4 to 5 weeks. Somebody who was about to get a colon transplant, well, not transplant, what am I saying? A colon removed because of Crohn's. And his doctor said, schedule the surgery. He cannot get better. They were able to cancel the surgery. He did rapid recovery with me. So obviously, even an inflamed colon can get better. You have to be very strict. You have to go full in because everything you eat touches that colon. You're not going to get away with cheating. You have to be very committed. But yes, you can. Let's see here. Oh, Facebook. Thank you for the Facebook hearts. I love it. People are like, hey, Facebook's giving hearts too. Thank you. Hey, you know, I appreciate love too. Let's see. All right, Kimberly, the Goodbye Lupus protocol for kidney function. All right, let's see here. And Vanya wants to know, can this protocol help someone who's already on dialysis? Yes, I've had people on dialysis get off dialysis. Absolutely. All right, now Instagram's giving me hearts back. Oh, it's a fight. Who loves me more? No, I'm just kidding. I won't divide you up here. All right. Artie wants to know, Artie or Arthi, I fell off plan. What is the best way to get back on it? The best way is just do it today. Just don't set a date. Don't, give yourself other reasons to delay it. Like, maybe I'll finish all the junk in my, no, just right now. So here, see me, right? See me right now looking at you. Just do it today. Do it today. Now, of course, you want to look at, why did I get off plan? So what happened, right? So that you can make a plan when that happens again, because life will happen. It's never just going to be convenient to do this, right? You're just going to do it because you want to be well, you want to be healthy. So if there was something that triggered you to get off plan, then think about that. Like, when I don't get enough sleep, I have more cravings, or when I don't get my shopping done, I tend to eat off plan. So make a game plan, but as of right now, just do it today. Just do it. That's the best way to get back on plan, is just make the decision to do it right now. Whatever you pack to your lunch, if it's not on plan, don't eat it. Go to a salad place, go to Whole Foods, do something. It's the best way. Don't delay. Just start, right? You don't want to ever wait until you're motivated to do something in order to do it. Motivation happens about 4 to 5 weeks after you start doing it every day. Isn't that inconvenient, right? Like, did you ever try working out and you're like, gosh, I'm just so unmotivated to work out? You will not become motivated to work out until you've been working out for about a month straight every day, at least 5 days a week. Once you've been doing it every day for a month, even though you don't want to, then you start wanting to. That's just how motivation works. So just start today, knowing that about a month from now, you'll start feeling like it. All right, let's get another one on Instagram. What's the time? We still got a little time. Yes, Maureen asked if I could help someone with motor neuron disease. Yes, I have helped people with motor neuron disease, and it's been pretty miraculous, actually. Very, very exciting to see that kind of improvement. Let's see. Naman Jane, I have a CRP of greater than 10 and my doctor told me to ignore it. I had DLE of 1 to 40 6 years back. I would not ignore CRP greater than 10. So elevated CRP, my tongue works. Elevated CRP is found in heart disease and found in inflammation. So either way, you want to get healthy, because if you have elevated inflammatory markers going through your bloodstream, guaranteed there's some damage being caused. Where? I don't know. They might not see it yet, but bring the inflammation down. Make sure that you're keeping your stress low and you're eating well. Eat on my plan. Like, it's the best thing you can do. Have a hyper nourishing plant-based diet and keep your stress low, exercise, do all those things and see that CRP come down. It can also be high from stress. So make sure you take that into consideration as well. All right. Lou 9440, go, go, go. She said 2 weeks in. Let's see. And Ruben07 says, does your protocol impact ANA titer results, and would it help to delay an onset of autoimmune issue? Yes, it actually does. It does. You don't have to obsess about it. Like, if your symptoms go away and your ANA is still positive, it's still time to celebrate. But yes, with time, the ANA does tend to go negative. Sometimes I see it go negative within a few weeks, and other times it can be months later. But the most important thing is to get you as healthy as possible. But yes, that's kind of one of those nice confirmations. When the ANA is negative, it's like, whew, the antibodies are not circulating. So that's always a good thing. All right, let's go back over to Facebook side. All right, so Jill is doing it on her own. Woo, that's some good thunder. Jill's doing it on her own, but she called it rapid recovery. But we're going to go past that to see, look what she did. So she's been doing day 21, RA for over 20 years, to include surgery, week 2 off all meds, tramadol, methotrexate, and 8 ibuprofen a day. I'm in for life. Thank you. So just as a motivation, yay, Jill. All right, it works. It works. And it really, really makes me happy when I see you all celebrate, especially like celebrate out loud, use social media. This is how we change things. And I'm saying we, because we have to do it together, right? I used to not talk about my health when I was growing up because I didn't want to always be the sick girl. I wanted to be something else. I never embraced lupus as a part of my personality or part of my identity. And I didn't like to talk about it. And yet it wasn't until I shared my health and my recovery that I was able to start truly saving lives. Because I would tell people what to eat, but they would ignore me, because why listen to any doctor telling you what to eat? But when I told them my story, they'd get inspired and excited. And so I learned to share. And now I share everything. I'm very open about my life and what I've been through. And it has helped and inspired other people to get healthy. And then as other people have gotten healthy, they've shared. And that's inspired other people to get healthy. You know, when I first published my book, Goodbye Lupus, I had under 100 followers on Facebook. And I have not paid for followers. I have never done any of that. I don't have all these like high-powered ads. I never paid for publicity. There are people who do that. It has entirely been word of mouth that you're seeing my face right now. And at first it was word of mouth in my community. And I remember a pharmacist calling me because he had a sibling in Canada, and he wanted them to move to Los Angeles to see me because he had patients he'd been giving medicines to for years who suddenly didn't need their medicines anymore. And they're like, who's your doctor? And it was always me. And he was like, what is this doctor? What is she doing? So it started just word of mouth in my community, and it grew that way. And then social media happened, and people started reporting what's happening in their lives, and it started growing that way. And so if you want your recovery to inspire things to change, you need to share that too. So I hope that thank you, Jill, for sharing it here in the Q&A. And if people are willing to share that out in the world, put it on your Instagram, put it on your YouTube. Like I did the Goodbye Lupus protocol and it worked. Like it's worth it. My kidneys are working. I'm off my RA medicines. The more people share it, the more well-known it is, the more this will just be the typical normal thing, right? You go to the doctor, you say I have aches and pains, they take out their prescription pad and they write down a recipe for a green smoothie, and it goes away, right? It's why I share my time so much as I can. I mean, it's hard for me to put this hour into my day, but I do it because I really want this to be out there. And if you're almost better and you just needed me to answer one question and then you're fully recovered, I'm so happy. I'm not looking to fill up my schedule with more clients. I'm really not. I want this to be just what people do so that they can be well. I spent so much of my life sick, and now I get to be a healthy person going into middle age when I was the sick person in my teens and 20s, you know? I want that for all of you. So Jill, thank you for sharing that. And I hope all of you do. It's a wonderful thing. And it also is what inspires me to keep doing all this free work, because if it works, if people are healing because I'm donating this hour to you every week, oh my God, it's so good. So share that and let the world know too. Share about these Q&As and all that stuff, and help people know what to do, because there's so much bad information out there and people are suffering from it, you know? Okay. Let's just get a couple more in, and then I do have to go until next week. All right, let me see. Kelly wants to know, can you drink too much smoothie? Not really. I mean, your body will stop you, you know. In terms of nutrition, no. In terms of your gut being angry with you, sure. If you want to hear about that, listen to my husband's podcast. He used to have a most popular vegan fitness podcast out there. It was called the Vegan Body Revolution Show. And it was all about how to build muscle and be fit on a vegan diet. And he did an entire podcast about how gassy he was when he drank 2 blenders in succession of smoothie. It's very funny. It wasn't funny at the time. I couldn't sleep. He was too smelly, but you know. Let's see. I've talked about this before. So Leotina Finnegan wants to know, can you explain about Dr. Walls, how she cured her MS but still eats meat? She said she's healed, but is she cured? Listen, I like to be positive about all things. What I'd say is I think her program can be very helpful for people who are already eating the standard diet, who are trying to eat healthier. And it can make a lot of great impact. She's not fully healed. I mean, her and I actually met over Zoom just to talk. And I think she's great. She wants people to be happier. She wants people to live better lives. She believes that vegetables are important. In fact, she said even when she switched to free range meat, she never had her symptoms improve until she ate more vegetables. And so that also, then I asked, have you ever given up meat to see if you could get better the rest of the way? And she said she's never tried it. So, you know, it's like, but wow, what a difference her life has been, right? She was in a wheelchair and now she can get up and be on stage, but she's not fully recovered normal, right? I have people with MS who've done my program who are out there running 5Ks, right? That have their most recent lesions on their MRI have disappeared. So I think her work is helpful and important. And for some people, it might be enough. But if you need something more aggressive, then you want to get rid of that meat and do my protocol. My protocol is the most aggressive because you remove everything that can cause inflammation and damage, including the animal products. And you focus on just the foods your body uses to repair itself. So her program is less inflammatory than the standard diet. And especially if you add in self-care and stress relief and stuff, it could really make a difference. But there are also people who have gone on programs like that, which is very much like a paleo kind of approach, who got sicker, especially when I've seen people who were already plant-based, whose doctor said, oh, you need to do autoimmune paleo, and then their kidneys failed. They got sicker because it was more inflammatory than their current diet, right? So as long as it's a better protocol than what you were already doing, you're going to get an improvement. If it's not, you might go the other way. So I am grateful for everybody who is teaching people things that make them healthier. It's just about how extreme the nutrition is. My protocol is the most extreme in terms of it is a specific protocol designed just to help your body with as much cellular repair as possible, as quickly as possible. And it's helped people fully recover, reverse labs, improve MRIs, get their lives back. And it's the most effective for that. So that's what I have to say about that. But I'm happy for everybody who's teaching people to live better. All right. And all right, let's say over here, what's the time? Okay. I'm sorry. I'll talk faster. Let me see. Okay. Let me just address this one for you. So Valley said, so guys, stop saying you were in rapid recovery when you weren't in rapid recovery. I love you, but please don't say that. Rapid recovery is my program. So I have Hashimoto's. I'm going to change your words for you. I have Hashimoto's, and I've been eating the raw protocol on my own for 6 weeks. Being raw, I increased soy a lot, tofu and soy kefir. So tofu is not raw, just so you know. My results came back with my thyroid antibodies increased. Is it possible that the soy would affect my autoimmunity? So I'm just going to address those parts of it. So, tofu is not raw. All right. And it's also not in my rapid recovery program. So you were trying to eat raw with tofu, it sounds like, and you've noticed that your most recent antibodies were elevated. They're not elevated because of that. My guess is that there's too much time difference between your antibody tests. So normally, if you took your antibodies the day before you started, and then at the end of 6 weeks, that'll give you the best info. And you want to look at the trends up before that. So sometimes, when I've seen it where people are like, I think my antibodies are worse, usually, and I've been doing this a long time, usually the last time they checked their antibodies was like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago, or sometimes even a year ago, in which case they were already higher and they didn't know it. But nothing about what you're doing. If you're eating raw foods and tofu and your antibodies are up, it's not because of that, because that won't cause your antibodies to go up. Tofu is not bad for your thyroid. But if you want to do rapid recovery because you don't know what you're doing wrong, then do rapid recovery with me, right? So that's a great time to do it, right? Let's say you're trying to do it on your own and you're not getting the results. Like I said, I try to give everything to the public I can for free because I just want you all to get better. And there's no way I can take care of every person on the planet. So if you can do it on your own, that's a great blessing. If you're struggling to do it on your own, then my rapid recovery group as a next step is a really good idea, because everybody in my group right now will tell you whatever they were doing on their own, it was not this. They thought they were doing it and it wasn't that. So the level of food, but also the oversight and how much we look at what people are doing and feeling and how they're speaking and how they're taking care of themselves, how they're managing their relationships, like everything. We're on that every single day for 42 days. So if you're trying to do it on your own and it's not working for you, that's usually a good time to then work with me. My next group is May 19th. So it is already filling in with people, but we still have plenty of spots left for people who want to do that. So it's not that. So I would just retest your labs again. And if you want to be more aggressive, then be more aggressive and go fully into the Goodbye Lupus protocol or even the Goodbye Autoimmune Disease protocol to make sure that there's no other stressors that are stimulating you, but also just get another test to make sure that you have a trend to look at. It won't make your thyroid sicker. It will not. And also make sure you're taking your iodine. Let me see. And Dawn, I have lupus. I want to take your class. Do you do payment plans? So you mean my group? I don't have payment plans on my website, but if you want to do that, you can. You can always send me an email, drg@goodbyelupus.com, all caps in the subject, so I see it because my email box is flooded. So you can write like all caps, payment plans, and so I'll see it. And, you could always Zelle or Venmo. And then what happens is when you've paid in full, then you would go into the next class. That's a way that we can do our next group. Let me see here. Let's see if I can find something. Yvonne, yes, you can have cacao in your smoothies. Let me see. All right. Okay. This is a cool one. So Meg wants to know, can osteoarthritis be reversed? Well, yes, you can't grow new cartilage, but we've definitely seen people with osteoarthritis whose pain went away. We've had so many people who were told that they needed a new knee or new hip, and then they didn't. And it's not because they grew new cartilage, but because there was also inflammation around the joint. The inflammation got better. Also, hydration will maximize how much padding you have because it will inflate the pads in the joints. So it's definitely worth doing to see if you can get rid of that pain. All right. And let me see one more from YouTube and I'll get another Instagram. Let's see. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Love Doggy says, you mentioned your son likes frozen cherries in his smoothie. What is the other ingredient? So Para Greens, ripe bananas, frozen cherries, and flax seeds. That's usually what they like the best. Let me see. I'm going to try to rapid fire as much as I can. Okay. So Maria, I started hypernourishing. My complement was low and ANA was high positive. My complement's now normal, which is better sign of recovery than anything else because your immune system is normalizing when your complement's normal. So that means that your inflammation's down, just so you know. But my blood pressure is too low and sometimes I feel weak. Anything I do to increase it, that's not a real thing. Your blood pressure is not too low. Low blood pressure is healthy. You see how hyper I am naturally? I have very low blood pressure. It's like low 90s over maybe 55, right? Blood pressure and energy, that's not related. My blood pressure is low because the resistance in my arteries are low, because my heart is super healthy. My blood vessels are super healthy. So if you're having issues with feeling weak, it's not the blood pressure. Blood pressure being low is good. It's healthy for your heart. So maybe you're not getting enough sodium and you're feeling kind of lightheaded. Maybe you need more sleep. Maybe you need more exercise. But you don't want to raise your blood pressure. That's not a real thing. The only people whose blood pressure can be too low are people who are taking blood pressure medicines on my plan, because blood pressure usually starts to normalize by the 3rd week. And if you're taking blood pressure medicine when you don't need it, boy, can that make you feel dizzy and weak. But if you're not on blood pressure medicines, it's a wonderful thing to have low blood pressure. Let me see here. And let's see, Mycin Health TV Network. Does protocol help with liver disease? Yes, absolutely. This is good for all of your organs. Again, cellular repair. All right. And is broccoli good to eat? Yes, high amounts and raw. It's delicious. Dip it in some guacamole and you will be very happy. Your body will do this. Oh, look, here's more people. I did this rapid recovery. I'm blessed to be out of pain. No lupus. Yeah, Darlene. All right, let's get a couple more from Instagram. And then I have to go. Okay. Christine by Nature wants to know, is there enough carbohydrates in your green smoothies to fuel the body? A lot of plant-based doctors emphasize the importance of starch. What are your thoughts? Thanks for all you do. Absolutely, there's enough. Yeah. People who are drinking their diseases in the short periods of time, and they're full of energy and they're exercising and feeling great. Yeah, there's absolutely everything you need. You do not need to eat starches to be healthy. I've never had somebody who was sick and I'm like, let's add a potato, and then boom, they're healthy. It's just never happened. But the reverse has. So You get plenty of carbs. That's all I've had today is this, and I'm good. Okay. So there's often a recovery period, where you're not used to it and you have cravings and all that, but it absolutely gives you everything you need. It optimizes your ability to be healthy. So you want to do what it takes to optimize your health, your vitality. Then adding this food is a good place to start with hypernourishment, and then see where you can go from there. And continue to take care of yourself. And as the other person asked, like, how do I get back? How do I start? Start just today. So when you're done watching this video, and you turn it off and you go get some water, and maybe you go grab a salad, and you just start where you can and keep going and take care of yourself. You get one body to live in. Make sure you take care of it so you can take it as far as you can go. All right. I will see you guys next week, same time. If you're looking for me, trying to meet with me, goodbyelupus.com. Otherwise, I will see you back here next week live streaming. Thank you all for participating, and I hope